once again.
Hello, andito naman po tayo. Samahan nyo kaming mag-explore na naman at pumunta at sumakay sa London Eye Riverboat. So dito po ngayon kami ngayon sa London Eye. Naglalakad papunta po doon. Medyo nagmamadali, baka maiwanan kami ng bangka. Ayan po yung London Eye, kung gaano kataas at kalaki. Yan po yung tubo niya, gaano kagabal yung wire niya, oh. Hindi lang basta-basta wire. Nila. Ayan si ate, napakaganda niya, oh. Tignan nyo naman, galing pa ng work yan. Ayan.
May mga bag. Late tayo, patora, tayo space. May maganda. 45 pa lang ako. Saan balik? Ayun, London Eye Cruise dito.
Oo, kami sasakay pero hindi.
Wala eh.
Mali pala.
Kailangan natin late tayo.
Ayan po, ang pangalan ng bangka namin, Silver Bonito. Ayan po. Thank you.
Ada sampaikan sah, coconut, night,
Nope,
alcohol.
nothing.
Okay, can
May checking pa sila, oh.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, fishing, Jeff.
I love fishing, I like to think of it, don't I?
Oh,
Thanks, mate, thanks.
oh, dito ba? O dito? Dito tayo. Yan. Tignan nyo kung gaano kami kadami.
The toilets on our right hand side when you entered. Additionally, we have ourselves my colleague Nick on board. So if you have any questions or anything, you'd like to refer to him, he can do that for you. If it does start raining at some point, you're more than welcome to head back downstairs. Do so with caution, though, the stairs may be a little slippery. But yes, I believe that's all we have been out of the way. So we can get on with a bit of our cruise. So, we've already begun looking at one of our landmarks in London. One of the buildings we are all here to see. It is beautiful. It is the one, the only St Thomas Hospital on the left hand side. What a building. I'm only joking. We are clearly all looking over to our right hand side. The building we like to refer to as the Houses of Parliament. The official name for this is the New Palace of Westminster. New Palace was erected in 1860 by Augustus Peter and Charles Barrow in a neo-Gothic art style to replace the old one that was burned down in the 1830s. The reason it gives its name, the House Richard. Let's think about that one. But we do have the scaffold around there because we're dealing with about 30 years worth of rust and corrosion. And the workers upon there, they're around trying their hardest to get it done. They are very tired, because after all, they're working around the clock. Oh dear. Cheesy jokes will be a feature of your river cruise, and they are not going to get much better than that, I'm afraid. They actually get worse. But you're stuck now. 45 minutes. Bring it on. Right then. So we have on our right hand side the lastminute.com London Eye. Now this was first designed by a husband and wife architecture team. They were David Marks and Julia Barfield. Originally it was for a competition in a Sunday Times newspaper, the design, to build a landmark for the Millennium Year. Competition got cancelled though, So British Airways came along and purchased this design for £75 million. That's what they gave the couple to build it, and it came to us from all around the world. We had the steel, came from the Czech Republic. We had the glass, came from Italy. The only thing that came from Britain in the London Eye are the wooden benches inside of the capsules. Very much it. There are 32 of those fully enclosed capsules for the 32 different boroughs of London. We do have 33 numbers though, and that is because we deliberately missed out number 13 for superstitious reasons.
33 number,
So if you ever find yourself
32.
on capsule number 33,
33
you know the real number. For those who play Love Island, all these shows which really tell you what we're truly like in Britain. And fun fact for you as well, when the River Thames tide is nice and low, Love Island is actually filmed right here in London. That small stretch of beach. Everyone gathers there. Not really. But Londoners do go there when the tide is low. They build themselves a nice little sandcastle, get a tan, maybe get a bit of typhoid from the water as well. Just a regular day out in London, that way. Over to your left hand side for us now, right in the distance, you have got yourselves the famous St Paul's Cathedral. Now St Paul's, this is not the original, as the original was actually destroyed in 1666 by the Great Fire of London. You can imagine about 9,000 buildings would have been aflame on the north side. St Paul's was probably one of his greatest creations. It is the second largest dome cathedral in the world, obviously second to the Vatican City. 365 feet tall. But on the very top there you can see that cross. In the original design plans, he wanted, rather than that cross, a giant golden pineapple. Now, a very weird choice in sure bomb. St Paul's was deliberately avoided for its religious factor. Only one bomb did hit St Paul's, but that was just to make it a bit more permanent. They get worse. There are also take place inside St Paul's. We have the wedding between Prince Charles and Diana. We have had the funeral procession from Baroness Margaret Thatcher. We also have the whisper dome at the very top as well. They still have ceremonies. That whisper dome, apparently if you whisper from one side of the dome, comes all the way back round and speaks to you. I've heard it is the perfect place to break up with someone. You know, you make a quick getaway before anything comes back round to bite you. So we're now about to go through the Blackfriars 2.5 cruise. As we do, I want you to look out for something. Looking up to your right and your left and you will see some lovely red columns just sitting in the middle of the river. I'm sure you're all wondering what the hell they're doing here. What's their purpose? Well, it's quite an interesting story, and it's kind of a mystery, adventure, and romance. I'm sure you'll like to know what it is, but I'm going to keep it suspense. I'm going to tell you later. Nothing in a bit of suspense in your cruise there. Why not?
Bali, kinsi-kinsi lang, no?
Bridge in front of us now, that is known as the Millennium Bridge.
Dalawang rides
Now,
eh.
the Millennium Bridge should have been nicknamed when first opened the Blade of Light. The nickname it actually got given was the Wobbly Bridge, because there was a 3-inch sway on this bridge in the first opening weekend, which caused people to have quite bad motion sickness. When the man who designed it, Lord Norman Foster, who was a northerner, was approached on live television and asked why his bridge wobbled, he claimed it were nothing to do with the design of my bridge, it were actually the way that Londoners walked. Apparently march everywhere. I don't know how true that is, except for if you go to the tube station at 5 o'clock. That kind of makes sense. But it cost more to rebuild this bridge than it did to build it in the first place. We actually had to get NASA involved to repair it. But it had a very famous movie career at its time. It featured in Harry Potter. It was in, we've got a Harry Potter fan on board, I can see. We had it in Guardians of the Galaxy. It was in London Has Fallen. In all of those films, this bridge does get destroyed, so it has somewhat been typecast by Hollywood. But as you can see, it's perfectly safe now. Everyone's walking along there happily. Now then, what a shame. But a man named Sonia Wanamaker came over to London and realised the original was not there anymore. Made it his life's work to rebuild this. He used all authentic building methods in order to get it standing as it is. It's an open-air theatre, which I will tell you a bit more about when we return to it. But it's a very good, very nice place to go and see your theatre.
Ang restaurant dyan, ah.
He is the father of Zoe Wanamaker, who was the actress who played Madame Purish. But the original site of Shakespeare's Globe is coming up on your right hand side here. That black glass building with the letters FT on it is now the Financial Times headquarters. I know, how very exciting. But Shakespeare's Globe used to sit in the car park of this building. And the other indicator of how you know this is true is that this section of the river is known as Southwark. Now Southwark, it used to be ruled, when London used to be ruled over by the Puritans, and they basically banned all fun. People would go to Southwark in order to get their fix of all the gambling, drinking, their bear fighting, hot fighting, and pillow fighting, all used to take place along Southwark. And one of the mainstays of that time is this pub on the right hand side with the red stone windows called the Anchor Tavern. Previously known as the Bankside Tavern. It has had many things in its time. Shakespeare and his actors actually had their dressing rooms inside of there. Can you imagine them having a bit of a drink, running across to get to the stage where the empty building is now? And we've had a few famous clientele drink inside of here as well. We've had Dr. Johnson now between these standing coloured buildings. Har! There be a pirate ship. And what is a pirate's favourite letter of the alphabet? No, it'd be the C, matey. Har! What a terrible one. So, in 1577, a man named Sir Francis Drake became the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe in his ship, the Golden Hive. In the process, he stole around about £25 million of treasure from the Spanish and the Portuguese. He left here with 84 crew and returned with 42. Now that is the replica. The original sailed around the world once, that one has actually sailed around the world twice. Now when he returned home from his voyage, usually he should have received a beheading for these crimes. So Francis Drake was actually given himself a knighthood, he got tea with the Queen, and even kept a share of the treasure. Because that £25 million that he fought in the Korean War, it was in it sunk Hitler's favourite ship, the Scharnhorst, in World War II. But then it was going to be sold for its scrap metal. The Imperial War Museum, however, came along and purchased the ship with a grand total of £1. You can now see people walking around there at the moment. This is an active all-area museum to give you all the inner workings of the ship itself. So it's a very nice day out. You can see the captain's quarters where the sailors used to sleep. They even sometimes used to let you fire the guns. Not loaded, of course. They are currently pointed at Croydon, so that won't go down very well. But yes, we are approaching Tower Bridge. Now, Tower Bridge, you can see, straight ahead of us. That stonework upon there is actually completely cosmetic. It does not need that in order to stay as it is. It's mainly a steel and iron-clad bridge. So the stonework's Queens and Kings of England coronated inside of here. We've also had them executed inside of the tower as well. That waterman's boat I told you about at the start is open. Go on their website and they give you the exact times when it opens. It's a very nice sight to see. But there is a Victorian legend with this bridge, which states, if we wave people on the bridge and get a wave back, we'll get 5 years good luck. So to get through, get your waves, see if you get one back. Hooray! Good stuff. Oh, you got no kiss, amazing. So that was Susan and Sharon with Helen, Mario, and We've already had our tea storage. Spice Wolf just past that. So we had all of our spices, baby, sporty, all kept inside there. But overseas travel doesn't happen as often now. We obviously have forward to transportation instead. So these all became a little bit derelict and unused. Until an American investor came along and purchased these and we converted into luxurious apartments. This is now a 2-year Tower Bridge, not London Bridge. Get it right down here. But yes, Tower Bridge, you can see at the very top there, that used to be a walkway for people to get across when the bridge was still opening up.
Okay na.
People actually realised that it was easier to wait for the bridge to close than climb the firefly. It is not ideal. That glass can apparently withstand the weight of an elephant. What I want to know is how they got an elephant all the way up there in order to test that. So back briefly now to the Tower of the Glory history. we've had some notorious monarchs inside of here. You may have heard of the notorious Bloody Tower. That was where we recently found, when they were excavating it, a box inside the stairs with 2 decomposed stone skeletons, where we think the king actually locked his 2 nephews inside of there so he could usurp and take the throne for himself. There's all sorts of stories that take place inside of here. The crown jewels are held inside of here now, guarded by the bee beaters. If you want to tour the tower, I definitely recommend going and checking them out. The bee beaters themselves will give you a free tour if you ask them nicely. They're amazing at their job, they do it for the love of it. So at the end of the tour, be kind to them because it keeps them going.
Meron din pala, Tower Millennium
It's a very nice thing to do, to check out. I can talk all day about the tower. So away from London, if you look at a Millennium London now, on your left hand side, we've got ourselves the Shard. Standing out a whopping 310 metres tall, which is as tall as aviation laws will allow you to build. 87 stories high. Inside of here, you've got yourself a 6-star Shangri-La hotel. You have got a restaurant, you've got apartments, you have a view and observation platform.
87, ano daw, 87th floor.
A 7-bedroom penthouse apartment, which if you wanted to buy, will set you back around about £43 million. As you can imagine, no one lives there at the moment. There's also a view and observation platform at the very top, which you don't pay for. Now, as a pro tour like tip, I'd say instead, actually go across the river to this skyscraper you can see right there. That is the walkie-talkie. The very top of there is something known as Sky Garden. Now, Sky Garden is a place where you can get free electricity. Even do say you have missions as well. Same sort of use of the show. Bar on top there, and you got it for free. It's also where we host the World Championship window washing competitions as well. Chop from this cruise, the time. But now we're take it away, sir. So the Victoria London Bridge was the most famous one that we had. We had 3-story houses on top of there, a cathedral, a market, it would take about an hour to get across because of how much traffic was on there. We also had the 700 craters on top of London Bridge. Very gory history as a second floor. Additionally though, this was actually bought by an American investor who came out from Arizona and shipped brick by brick to Lake Havasu to open his own hotel. 3.5 ago, 125 different species of fish, including seals, seahorses, dolphins, even a whale. Comes in now about 3 times a day. If you look to your right, you've got an old Victorian indicator of how high that tide is. These green lines compute to their mouths. There's a line that goes along with these, and that line is, if the lions are drinking, London is sinking. But if the lions are ducking. But this is going to be your last chance to wave at stranded on bridges, if you're so inclined. It is a royal bridge as well, so royal wave is much appreciated. Yes. Here we are, now we're having tea. International spies will get on board at the time with some high-tech binoculars and look through the windows of their boat and discover all of our national secrets. During the trial, as I said, you don't just buy some curtains, and if you look closely, they're flapped out all the windows. But it's known as the iceberg, which means a lot of it is actually located underground, subterranean. It's what gives J.K. Rowling her inspiration for the Ministry of Magic in Harry Potter as well. Through them. Now the building behind us tonight is Council Hall, and used to be open house for the House of Parliament and home to the Greater London Council before Margaret Thatcher disagreed with their political views and abolished it. So it now has all of our learning attractions inside there. We've got London Dungeons, London Eye Ticket Office, Shrek's Adventures, Sea Life. Do we have anyone going on the London Eye today, or have already been on the London Eye? Okay, a few people, very nice. So, there's also ways you can get up on the London Eye. You can have yourselves a champagne experience, where you go around with a little glass of champagne as you see all the sights. Very nice way to enjoy the views. You can have a pub pod experience, where we've literally made a pub.
Ay, yan, tapos na po kami. Tapos na po kaming mag-boating. Kaya sa susunod naman yung London Eye. Atransan, marami pa rin nakapila dito. Ayun, sama namin si ate.